Recently, I was in the presence of greatness. I was at a place standing in the middle of a kind of area, and I looked up. And as I looked up,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I saw, I would say, my biggest, beautifulest, strongest, most handsome boy, aka Giga Chad Gianni Kane, standing at the
Please
front
don't
of a
call me that.
stage with a microphone with his band, the Fifth Odyssey, for his first paid live gig. And I just want to say congratulations, first and foremost, Gianni.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask.
You can clap as well if you want. Or you think
How-
one hand.
Yes, I'm in a sling post shoulder surgery, but how was performing your first paid gig?
Yeah, it's interesting. The Indie Bar is really great because for more context, we performed at the Indian Ocean Hotel, which is called the Indie Bar, which is, we've done about 4 performances there, including this one. But yeah, you start there as kind of like in this thing called plug and play, where you just kind of message them or message them to get involved, and they just got a whole bunch of people that are just, I guess, giving it a crack. Doesn't even have to be that serious, but lots of people come watch that on Thursday night, so it's really good. But through that, I guess, and through doing performances there, I guess we got seen maybe a little bit. Not even that, we're just in the system a bit. And so we got thrown into a lineup with 3 other artists on a Sunday. So it was really good. It was paid, and we got split 4 ways. We got about 200 and something bucks, which is okay. Like it's easy for me because I just sing and I don't have to invest in, the equipment that the others do, the drummers and the guitarists and everything.
You have to invest in
really
nurturing your
expensive.
beautiful voice.
I have to invest in doing, tea and lemon and honey and ginger. But yeah, it was really exciting. And the fans were incredible. And I'd like to say majority of them were there for us, even though the other bands were really good. But we managed to get a whole bunch of people around us, which is really exciting. So we really appreciate your support, Campbell. I know you've been to 3 shows now. Roughly 2, maybe.
Yeah.
You could see some improvement, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We had a lot more time.
I just had a question for you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Who was the first person in the audience waiting in the empty kind of mosh pit area for you guys to play?
It was you. It's always you. And your girlfriend, Emily.
No, she was behind. I was there first. She was talking to your mum and dad.
Okay. Oh, was she? Oh, yes, you always do that, which is good because, I think everyone would have crowded in, but someone's got to be the first person to make the move.
To break the ice.
Break the ice, because the other band didn't have anyone standing
Make some
in the front.
eye contact.
And it's just really awkward because the stage is not that big. So it's like you're just literally just there. So I could just have a conversation with you, kind of break the fourth wall. But you always stand there with your awkward face. We just like, this is my impersonation of you. Don't lose the footage this time.
Audio listeners, if you want to quickly have a look at what Gianni's doing. Yeah, so I was actually very impressed. You were very good the first time, but you were very good this time as well.
We had more time.
One of the things I noticed was less covers this time.
Less covers, more originals.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Do you like that? Did you like the...
I think the sad song was a lot better this time. The first time they
was
performed
shorter.
a sad song and it was just a little bit drawn
Long.
out, and
We cut off the whole bridge in the third chorus.
you hadn't had it performed many times maybe. That was the
Yeah.
first time performing it live when I watched it on the second gig. But then this time it was quite a lot more digestible.
With more of a guitar thing at the end.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to be sad. We're trying to be a happy band. And then I guess we had the other one that's kind of like a little downbeat one, but we had Keichy at the front to play the guitar, who was usually the drummer. And
I got a question.
everyone
as well.
liked the
I got
second
another
song,
question.
Dreaming.
I liked every song.
Did you? Did you? Good. The originals are like, there is, the originals in the, but it's hard to come up with something completely novel, right?
So do you,
nothing's
because
really
you're the
novel.
lead singer, are you songwriting the
Some of
lyrics
them,
for this stuff, or is Keichy the drummer helping? Who helps you with the lyrics?
It's been a pretty collaborative process so far. Like they usually, the guys, obviously I can kind of hum along, but I need to learn the guitar. I can play the keys, but I don't. My keyboard's broken. I haven't played in ages. So the guys, the musicians do, start on an idea and then I start humming, and then some songs I kind of come up with the melody. Not too many, like I'm trying to think. Lots of them, Mitch, our bassist, has also been really good in writing some stuff. Jamie does kind of like the musicality side. Keichy's pretty good with lyrics. I've done lyrics to that second song, Dreaming. That was cool. But they've come up really cool ideas. Like they usually just record and put it in the chat, and then whoever's kind of, if you feel sort of happy, like if you feel keen on writing a song, if something appeals to you, then you can kind of write lyrics or whatever. So it's been really good. It's been a good collaborative process so far. So that's how we've been coming up with stuff. But I mean, you're so influenced by, we've never been exposed to more music, right? So it's hard to come up with something completely novel. So yeah, but I mean, one of them's really Strokes inspired.
While you sing,
yeah,
I've noticed that you like to close your eyes.
Well, that's
when
a
you
nervous
hit those
thing.
really, really beautiful melodies and notes.
Shut up.
But my question is, close your eyes versus open eyes. Eye contact with the crowd. What are you looking at while you're singing?
Well, because I'm not used to, I mean, I think people said my stage presence was a bit better this time because it was like, you know, not, I think the first time was like a lot of, because I've done drama before and stuff. So people are like, oh, you shouldn't get nervous. But then like people are right there and they're your friends. So you're like, some people would be like, it's more familiar, but it's also can be awkward a bit sometimes. Like if you're just like eyeing off people that you know in the crowd, it's kind of like weird. So maybe you have to do the drama thing and pick a spot and look and kind of look off into the distance. But the closing the eyes thing was almost just like, you don't want to be singing and then I look at your silly face and you're like, and I'm like,
Right at the front of the mosh pit.
yeah, that's the funny thing. So I don't know. Maybe it was a nerves thing. Maybe it's just like a silly thing. I'm sure if there was a bunch of random.
So when you close your eyes, what are you thinking about?
I'm just thinking about singing.
Is it like the Kanye thing where you imagine everyone in their underwear?
Is that what he does?
Isn't that
That's what Diddy
one
did.
of his lines? I thought it was just a line from one of his songs.
No, I don't know. I don't really think about anything.
Do
I'm
you
just thinking
close
about
your
singing
eyes and let the
listening.
world paint 1,000 pictures?
One good girl is worth
1,000.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do Bound 2, unfortunately.
But
as a song, as a cover.
So
But
when
yeah.
your eyes are open, what are you looking at?
I don't know. I'm just kind of panning, but like you don't think about these things. They kind of just happen naturally, I think. I'm not like, okay, I got to keep my eyes closed and like peeking to see it. I don't know. Was I closing my eyes too much? Was it weird? Did it look weird?
Well, only because I was right there underneath you in front of you. When you really close your eyes to hit a really like deep note, it kind of looked like you were leaning in to like make out with your mic. Because you know how like when you lean in to kiss
I was
someone,
holding the microphone quite close.
when you lean in to kiss someone, you close your eyes and you you kind of slowly close your eyes until you make contact.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It was kind of like that. It was like you were leaning in to kiss
Maybe
the mic.
I am.
And I bet a bunch of the girls there were wishing they were the mic. I'll tell you that.
That's not true.
I'll tell you that right now.
That's not true.
Do you enjoy it, like the thrill of it? Like live performance?
Yeah.
Nervous?
Nervous, definitely.
Ready for it?
I was less nervous for this one, honestly.
Do you have
which
any
is weird
drinks
'cause it was more-
beforehand?
I had a couple of drinks beforehand. You don't want to do have too much cold beer because like, or for example, beer or something, because it will.
Just have a few espresso martinis?
No, but it freezes things up. Like you
Few
want to have hot
espresso
beverages.
martinis?
I had so many teas during the day, but I wasn't that nervous. But no, it was good.
Do you have like a ritual before you perform?
No.
You just get up there
I
and
just
do
sing
it?
one. I just had one note that I knew I wanted to hit, so I sing that a few times in the back. But no, I like the thrill of it. It's fun. It's I guess I've been a bit more desensitized. Like when you get up there, like you kind of it feels a bit less surreal because I'd done that stuff in the past. But like I remember doing drama performances, and it was like there is a buzz. There's definitely a buzz. And when people are like laughing or clapping or reacting, that's when you kind of get that buzz. And it's
Mental preparation beforehand. I'm curious. Are you trying to think about it throughout the day beforehand, or are you trying to completely distract yourself and not think about it? What's the kind of balance,
well,
the ideal balance of thinking versus not thinking about the performance?
We'd often rehearse beforehand to the point where it's like, you know, it's muscle memory, so you're not thinking about it that much. And I'm lucky because I'm only singing, whereas the other guys are playing instruments, so it's a bit more complex. So maybe they've been thinking about it more. But I mean, there's not that much to think about. Like, oh, I'll do this a little bit differently. I'll do this a little bit differently. Like I'm thinking about, you know, how I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like maybe if you get out in the sports field, you're like, I'm gonna, you know, really hit this first one hard, or I'm gonna try a bit more of this today. I try a bit that. Maybe there's like little things that you could do. But mine was probably more about actually, yeah, I'm gonna try more stage presence. I'm gonna you know, take the microphone away from the stand a bit more. That was probably what more I was thinking about rather than the actual singing part. Because the singing just happens.
Well, it does. It was a very good performance.
Well,
I'm very
thank you for
grateful
your
to have
support.
been there, and I hope there's quite a few more.
Are
Are you going to play at any other venues, you
We've
think?
got one in February at a nightclub in Northbridge, which is like a DJ. It's got like
Friday or Saturday night?
I'm not sure. It's in February, but it's like, it's so stupid. It's like a DJ / rapper event. And somehow, because Jamie's brother, who's the guitarist, his brother's organizing it. And so we've managed to pull that gig, and then so it's going to be, we're kind of going to be out of place. We'll probably do more rocky stuff. We're going to think about a few like Red Hot Chili Peppers covers and like a Soundgarden or a Pearl Jam or we already do Danny California as a band, so maybe we're thinking about something else. But we're also thinking of no, actually I won't say that because we don't know.
Well, I had an interesting experience recently since we last recorded a podcast.
You always do
Do I?
have interesting experiences.
I had shoulder surgery.
Oh, sorry. I should ask you about your shoulder surgery.
Well, the thing is, there's a few things worth sharing that happened that I thought were fascinating. So the first
Things that went wrong.
yeah. Well, one of them went wrong. So for the people watching, for context, I had a shoulder surgery on some torn labrum, a tear in my labral cartilage in my shoulder, and
Or boo-boo.
I went under for the operation on a Friday afternoon, the Friday before Christmas.
Underwear. Oh, anyway, continue.
And so what they do is they put you under with local anesthetic, but then they also do a local anesthetic injection, like in your neck, to paralyze your arm. Mm-hmm. And what happens is sometimes it goes past your shoulder and just blocks all the nerves, like at the bottom of your arm, so like the lower arm, elbow, wrist area.
It's just a thing, though. It's nothing.
It just happens every now and then.
dangerous,
Nothing they can do about it.
Yep.
But the idea is it paralyzes or like not blocks all the nerves for the whole arm, so you can't feel the pain of the operation when you wake up.
Yep.
But I was one of the unlucky ones where it just completely went through. So I wake up and I can feel my whole shoulder on fire, but then I can't move my arm from just above my elbow down.
And they're operating on you.
No, this is after I've woken up.
Okay.
So I've woken up, can't move my hand, pins and needles in my whole arm, but I'm high as a kite on
except your shoulder. So there's pins and needles except on your shoulder.
Yeah, because I can fully feel my shoulder. But imagine having like pins and needles, but you can't move it to kind of shake out the pins and needles.
No, but imagine having like pain and you can't move your.
Well, I could walk around and stuff, not well.
Ow.
But yeah, so my shoulder's on fire, but I can't move my arm. So my mum and girlfriend are with me in my recovery room in the evening, and I literally can't move my hand. And it feels warm to touch. I'm touching it. I can't feel myself touching my hand.
Had your shoulder calm down?
Well, I'm on so much painkillers that like it's doing like its job. Like I had fentanyl when I was under. Uh-huh. I woke up and they were like,
I'm surprised you accepted that.
Well, I didn't, because they do it when you're under. And then
but you have to consent. Sure, there's something you would have signed saying you
probably. But then I woke up and they were like, "Do you want some more fent?" And I just said to the nurse, "No fent, no fent, no fent." And then I looked across the room and Jamie Johnson was across the room, just sitting there recovering from a surgery in the recovery thing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just great. The kid I went to school with.
Shout out Jamie Johnston.
Yeah, so then
love that guy.
I pointed at him to the nurse. I was like, I know that guy. Because I'm high as a kite.
Was he high as well?
Anesthetic.
What was his surgery?
I think he said he had a blood clot or something. I don't know. We're yelling across the room at each other. Because it's like this big room of everyone lined up trying to wake up from the local anesthetic.
It's Perth. That's Perth in a nutshell. Did you like take your little thing over to him and like sit down with your buddies?
Historically, me in the recovery rooms from no, because I'm in a bed. I can't move.
Yeah, no, but I was just
historically me waking up and being in the recovery rooms, they move me out straight away because when I'm high, I just yap. Like I just talk.
Shock.
To the point where they're like, okay,
what would I be like if I could?
I don't know. But yeah, so I'm talking to the nurse, like talking absolute gas. And then I point over at the guy adjacent to me across the room and I go, I know that guy. And the nurse goes, no, you don't. And I go, yeah, I went to school with him.
Why are they gaslighting you?
And she's like, what's his name? And I said, Jamie Johnson. She goes, oh, because she like would have been helping with him and know his name as well. So she walks over, nudges him, points at me, and we start talking across the room. He's like, oh, what'd you do? And I was like, oh, shoulder surgery. How about you? Is it blood clot? Which sounds pretty awful, a blood clot.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That must have been an emergency surgery if it's a blood clot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, hope he's all right.
Yeah, so then I get moved into my room. I can't I can't move my arm. It's like having a phantom limb. I now know what people mean by phantom limb because I can feel all the pins and needles in my arm like it's there, but I can't touch it or move it. It's like nothing's actually there when I go to actually touch it. So my mum and girlfriend, back to what I was saying, are in the recovery room watching me, and I'm high as a kite off synthetic opioid, tapentadol, and the local anesthetic, and I'm just playing with my hand. Like I'm daffing up my hand because it doesn't feel like my hand, so it feels like I'm just giving someone else like fist bumps and handshakes and stuff. So I'm just sitting there high in that much pain, just laughing at myself, dapping myself up while my girlfriend and mum are looking at me like I'm absolutely crazy. And it was a weird experience, I'll tell you that. But then the other experience I wanted to share was in the morning I had to have a shower, right? And the nurse comes in because you have different nurses, some in the evening, one over the night shift and one in the morning. And the nurse for the morning comes in, like says hi to me, introduces herself, and she goes, okay, you need to have a shower now. this is how you're going to do it. This is the sling you're going to use,
You
yada,
need to,
yada,
like,
yada.
you do need to have a
Like
shower.
you should have
saying,
one.
like, you should.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah, because you're going to be.
You should be like, I'm a strong, independent man. I can decide.
You're
when I
covered
have
in
my
all this.
shower.
You're covered in all this dye from the surgery and
okay.
stuff. And she goes, okay, call this like the nurse button when you finish having a shower, and I'll come in. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I have my shower. I press the nurse button and call her. I'm standing there, head poking out the doorway because I'm butt naked. And she walks into like the main room, not into the shower cubicle. And she goes, okay, I'll dry you now and help you get changed. And I go, but I'm naked. And she goes, no, that's okay. I've done this before. I've seen this a million times. I'm a nurse.
But
So-
have you seen this before?
So then she walks in, dries me and clothes me, which is the
surely
weirdest.
you could have done that yourself. Or no, you
No,
can't
because
move
I've got
your arm.
one arm and I'm in severe pain. I literally am sitting in a chair, almost not moving, because there's a chair in the shower, which is actually kind of cool.
That's good. That would be fun.
Yeah, it actually was kind of fun.
Yeah. How long were you in this? Did you have just a really long shower?
Yeah, really extra long. So then the nurse dries me and clothes me, which was the weirdest experience because I've never had a complete stranger dry and clothe me. But I want to say the other.
Have you had a non-complete stranger dry and clothe you before? Or when you were a baby, maybe, yes.
Yes, when I was a baby.
Yes.
So then, good point. So then, it would have been kind of normal if it was like an older nurse, like a mummed age nurse, because then it's like your mum is kind of like an older lady, like taking care of you, like
Mummy.
like your grandparents or whatever. Jeez.
Mummy, I finished my shower now.
But this chick was probably 30, young, like late 20s, like 25 to 30 in that range. Like, so it was like my sort of demographic, opposite sex. So it was a little bit like uncomfortable in that sense. It's like they're coming in, they're seeing me naked, they're drying and clothing me. Like they're squatting down and drying their legs, and literally next to their head is my like private parts. And I'm just like,
Well, thank you for describing that. I really appreciate it.
I'm just like, how does this happen? I was so starstruck. And she goes, yeah, I do this all the time. Like,
Starstruck. Takes great mental fortitude
yeah, that was
from you and her.
So what I was going to say is shout out to the nurses
Shout
that
out
have
to the
dry
nurses
all
that
these
have to
people
dry.
naked
Oh,
and
like old
clothe them.
people. Ugh.
No, but all people. Like,
Yeah, true.
Like
All bodies are beautiful.
A lot of a lot of respect for nurses, etc. Because
Yes.
that's a tough job.
You'd get desensitized, surely. And I mean, lots of the people that like work in that
Yeah.
thing, you get whatever you're working. Remember what Andrew Tam was saying?
Yeah.
Right? Like he's seen so many penises in his time
As a urologist.
Yes. Sorry, I should
Preface
that with say he's a urologist, but he's like, it's something that everyone else is like, oh my God, what the fuck? And people, it's desensitizing. So sorry, don't mean to like, burst your bubble, but you're nothing special.
Yeah.
Your naked body was nothing special to her.
I was just a statistic in the hundreds of naked bodies she's seen.
Just a notch on the bed frame. Yeah. Well. I know you had to. It's pretty vulnerable. You got really vulnerable on the podcast, having to you had to be vulnerable to call the nurse in.
It was almost like a confidence booster, as in like I was comfortable enough to be naked in front of a stranger.
Why is that a confidence boost?
Because it's like it's a freeing sort of like, we live on a rock. Someone's seen me naked, whatever. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm an adult.
We live on a rock. What's that got to do with anything?
Like,
rock.
It's not taking everything so
Rock.
seriously and stressing and worrying about it. Like, not going, oh, a stranger's going to see me
So
naked.
have you changed your mind? Are you a naturalist now?
A naturalist?
You can go to nudist camps now. You don't
probably
care that
no. I
people,
probably wouldn't do that.
You don't care that people see about people seeing you naked.
Yeah, well, it's a nurse drying me post surgery.
Yeah,
like it's.
but this is what you're saying. You're talking about how liberating that is.
Well, it was a bit of it's not the end of the world if a stranger sees you naked, as long as it's not like you breaking the law with public nudity, of course.
This has been happening with like massages for ages, right? Where people are like, oh, like I'm.
Yeah, but massages have a different incentive to them, Gianni.
What?
Massages have a different incentive to them when you're naked and you're getting them.
What are you talking about?
Well, isn't that the whole thing? It's like a massage with a happy ending.
No, that's in one place. Would be like in Bali. Usually
in Bali.
Or whatever you're talking about, happy end. That's not a normal massage experience.
I thought that was.
No,
I thought that was.
Have you had like a sports massage before?
Oh, like a physio, like.
Yeah,
rubbing in if you have an injury.
Get a massage. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought the whole point of going on like a massage parlor where it's like dedicated to like essential oils, and they kind of oil up and then,
oh my God, no.
I thought that's what that
There's
was.
it's not. They're not supposed to be erotic experiences.
What, someone's sensually getting an oil and massaging your muscles?
It's supposed to be relieving, and to do that, you have to be in that state. With
to me, that's
towel of you.
That's very sensual. That's too sensual.
No, there's only a very. Well, this is what I'm saying though, because it's
so. Have you got a massage from
a
massage place before, naked?
I've had maybe underpants. Maybe underpants. Yeah.
So no,
but
so how would you know?
You don't know. No, because people talk about it. They talk about happy endings, and
for the audience. I think we need to myth bust this for the audience, and we got to go try.
It's only a very specific part of the world where lots of Australians go to that do like a happy ending thing, and that's Southeast Asia, and Australians use and abuse that, and that's what you hear.
So
about.
maybe we need to kind of expel the stigmas around it and go and try it for ourselves.
You really
and see if
just
there's
don't.
hype around it or not.
No, there's not.
See if it's real or not.
You would walk into a place and. No, you're hilarious.
We can always just say no, can't you?
No,
I have a friend that went to Thailand last year, and he's in a relationship.
Wow, shocking.
And he got offered one, and he said no.
Yeah, but there's only those that's most of the world that's not a thing. You just hear about it because people like to talk about it.
Well,
no, you're wrong on this. That's not a normal thing to get at.
Well, that's myth busted.
A happy ending.
Well, if you're listening and you've had a naked massage before. Comment if you had a happy ending or not. I'd be interested to know how many of our listeners have had it. Or comment if you've just had if you've been naked and been massaged before. I feel like that's a very vulnerable state to be in.
What are we? This is erotica pod.
Well, that's
what are we doing here?
Isn't that a very vulnerable state?
We might as well be narrating 50 Shades of Grey at this point. Have you seen that? It's like a video.
No, I haven't seen 50 Shades of Grey.
No, I haven't seen it either. I haven't read it either, but have you seen like people like will be like listening to the audiobook with like all the windows down in the car and the petrol station, and they're just sitting forward looking like this, and it's like, he unzips my pants, and it's like, okay, yeah. Well, what has happened to the Crooked Smart podcast in 2025? Where
maybe we should do a podcast while getting massages while naked.
No, I'm okay, thanks. No, because then you'll be like, oh, where's the happy ending? Because there has to be a happy ending. And it's like, no.
Well, just the offer would be nice, even though I'd refuse it, obviously.
No.
Obviously, I'm going to say no. Obviously, I'm going to turn it down.
Tread carefully, Campbell.
Obviously, I'm going to turn it down. But like,
why would you want the offer then?
Because it's just a nice gesture, I thought.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Well, it's a nice gesture. Why is that a nice gesture? It's a sexual favor. That's not from a random. That's not a nice gesture.
I thought that was the reason people went. That's what people have told me. And I just got to go off my own lived experience of what people have told me, because I haven't actually lived that specific experience myself.
Oh, God. This is so silly. It's a silly conversation.
Or do you want to change it up?
No, it's fine. It's just...
But imagine, okay, we're both like on our bellies, face down. And then we both have a camera. You know, like there's the little hole in the end of the bed that your face goes through.
Oh, yeah.
So say we both have a camera directly under it, and it's just our face.
Like people have copied this.
And we got a little mic, and then we're both just talking through like a mic with just our face shown from the under. And we do a podcast. Like talking next to each other.
It'd be like, hey, It'd be like you're getting fucking thumbs into your back and people going their elbows. So it'd be like...
Okay, moving on from massages, I think.
Yes, please move on from massages.
Post-surgery for the shoulder, you don't realize how many things you need two hands for. Like whether it's cleaning dishes. Why did you do those eyes?
No, nothing.
You need two hands to give a massage, obviously.
Of course.
But just like opening a jar, opening a door while holding something, things you wouldn't clock that is going to be a real big conundrum in your life once you have one arm. Like imagine all the
high tens.
Imagine all the shark attack survivors that have one arm and have to live that.
High tens.
Respect to them.
You can't do high tens or low tens. You can only do high fives and low fives.
You wouldn't be able to ride a bicycle.
You wouldn't be able to. What would you not be able to do?
Embrace a loved one with both arms and a nurturing goodbye hug if they were leaving.
It would just be side hugging forever.
Side hugging your grandparents. You wouldn't be able to do the handshake where then you put the other hand over and clasp around.
You wouldn't be able to pat your head and rub your tummy
at the same time.
Like this? This is insensitive, isn't it? Are we being insensitive?
People with one arm?
No, we're just saying with you with one arm, like what couldn't you do as well? What else couldn't you do?
Oh, couldn't tie shoelaces. That was a big one. As in I'd have to tie my shoelaces kind of like before the surgery.
True.
Where it's like a little bit looser than you'd expect. like with the shoe fitting. So
and then
you can slide it
release
on and
you
off
could trip.
without tying the lace. But if it's too tight, then you can't put it back on once you take it off, and you can't tie the laces. But you don't want to walk around without tied laces. Tying pants, cord shorts, putting on a belt,
You probably couldn't start a revolution.
brushing your teeth, getting the toothpaste on the toothbrush.
You probably couldn't cause an uprising. You probably couldn't run a government.
You probably couldn't cause a global financial market crash.
Or could you? Could you arbitrage in financial markets with one hand? Typing was a big one. I've been a mouse Coding?
demon lately.
Coding, you can do one-handed coding maybe. You wouldn't be able to
What about
solve the energy crisis.
knitting?
You
You wouldn't be able to knit.
No knitting.
That's a big loss.
You wouldn't be able to garden effectively.
Yes, I got to tend to the
Actually,
plants.
no. This is rubbish because I reckon there's people out there that can do all these things and
With
they've
one arm.
they've just worked it out and they're amazing people.
Yeah, but they
Respect
probably
to those
use
people.
their feet.
You can do all
People
those
don't
things.
realize that they have free hands.
Yeah. Or it's amazing. You wouldn't be able to.
You wouldn't be able to light a candle that's really low burnt, because then you're going to burn your fingers as you put it in, because you know how you got to tilt the candle on the side when you light one that's kind of almost finished.
I wouldn't be able to pat my cat Pepe with two hands, just one hand.
You can't take toilet paper off a roll because you need the other hand to kind of hold it to tear it.
No, but have you watched the Paralympics? Like, these people are doing all this stuff, could do all this stuff without arms and legs. It's incredible.
Well, they got prosthetics.
Yeah, but even then, like the guys that with no arms and legs that swim, I mean, my God, like this is the peak of human ability. This is my take on. Can I just have a quick take on Paralympics?
Everything's designed for humans with two hands.
Well,
That's how every product's designed.
Yeah, and obviously the Olympics is more watched than the Paralympics. But you talk about Olympics being the peak of human ability. I think the Paralympics is the peak, maybe not by definition, but it's like the peak of human, I guess, greatness and resilience and everything, because
Grit, perseverance.
It's amazing. It's genuinely
mental
amazing.
fortitude.
It's yeah. So that's a good question actually. What is a greater representation of human ability and human kind of
Olympics.
greatness? Yeah. Olympics or Paralympics?
Well, you get handicaps in the Paralympics, so Olympics.
You still have to swim in a 100-meter race.
Yeah, but you get a handicap. So
What's their handicap?
like
You have to swim there.
You get handicaps.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, but no. But I'm saying like you're still doing the same
But
activity.
who's the arbiter of what handicaps? What, like, the two people are doing a
It's-
100-meter race.
There's
and
heaps there's so many classes.
One's missing a leg and one's missing an arm.
Yeah.
Who gets to decide
There's a whole bunch of different classes.
what the handicap is appropriately?
There's a whole bunch of different classes. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I don't watch the Paralympics enough, which is bad. It's incredible.
The one two-handed thing that I didn't see coming that really stumped me was serving food for yourself, like when there's like a full table. So when we had Friendsmas and the table was filled with food,
Oh yeah.
like I'd have to put down my plate to put stuff, but there was no room to put down the plate to use my other hand then to put onto the plate because the table was covered in food. So you don't realize everyone's holding the plate in one hand and putting the food onto it with the other hand. That,
Even just eating in general.
and I was at the front of the line, so I was really taking a long time. And
You know what
everything got
else?
Clogged up.
You'd have to do multiple trips from the car to the house carrying stuff. You'd actually have to give in because usually I'm like
Do it
everything
all
at
at
once. You got to do it all at once, and
Yeah.
guys always do that. I think more than probably, but you genuinely probably would have to, unless maybe like
Unless someone's
shop.
with you.
Unless someone's with you, you have to do, which would just be the worst thing in the world, having to do 2 trips from the
Driving
car to the
manual.
house. Or would you find a way?
You'd find a
no,
way.
that's
I
true,
think
yeah.
if I was a betting man, I would say you find a way.
So anyway, that's interesting. Let's. I'm sorry to hear, that you've had to, go through all this hardship with one arm, and you still are.
It's only 3 more weeks in this.
We can't high 10. We always high 10 when we meet each other, and we can only high 5 at the moment. I think that's a drop in energy that has been detrimental.
can
in the
no longer
podcast.
warmly embrace with both arms and a hug.
No, we don't do that anyway.
Oh, here's another fascinating thing. They didn't put stitches on the exit wounds.
Oh,
So
what'd they do?
they went through the back, and then through 2 points on the front. And the way my surgeon explained it to me when I had the follow-up consult yesterday is they used them all as ports of entry, and they literally just changed them around with one having the camera and the other one having tools going in to be able to do it. And because I had
how big's a camera like that?
I don't know. But because they had a stitch in the cartilage, but because I had dressings on and can't move my arm, they just closed them up with steri strips and put a big padding over it for 3 weeks and just let it heal by itself. So
Wow.
I've got 3 scars on my shoulder and they're all healed
Open.
up without stitches.
Oh, wow.
No, they're closed over.
That's good.
They're closed off, but they've all healed over without stitches.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess because they're only slight incisions, right?
Oh, I'll show you after this, but they're not. Like, they're big scars.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I had.
Oh, and the other thing about the surgery is because my housemate's brother operates in surgery rooms.
Does he?
We were talking about this, and
What?
because I went into the surgery with like the gown on, but I was allowed to keep my undies on. So, and I emptied my bladder before, so I thought they weren't gonna like take my pants off, while I was in the surgery, because I entered into the surgery with my pants on, and when I woke up, my pants were still on. So I wouldn't have thought in the like 3 hours they did the surgery or whatever time they took my undies off and put them back on if they're operating up on my shoulder and I'm in a gown.
How does that work? Is that why you have that gown? So you can.
Well, you go into the thing naked. Like a lot of the operations, you're naked.
Yeah.
For this one, because it's my shoulder, it's a short operation. I've emptied my bladder. I went in with my undies on, left with my undies on. I thought maybe I didn't get naked. But then he's telling me for sure they did. And they probably put I think it's called like a urethra catheter or something or a stent. It's a stent in your private part. Because when you're under, you have uncontrollable, your bladder and stuff is uncontrollable. So he's saying it's highly likely that I had this big stent put in there and I never even knew. How crazy is that?
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, I do, because I just talked about it. But,
you're being very vulnerable this podcast, Campbell. This is a side of you that most
what can I do
listeners
about
have not
it?
listened to.
2025, it's a new me.
Vulnerable Campbell?
Vulnerable Campbell.
Hey, that's a segment. You got to come up with something vulnerable for every duo that we have, and I've got to talk to you about it.
Do you want another one?
Yeah. I'm really alone.
I like Little Spoon. That's a vulnerable
Yeah,
segment.
well, we've done that. That was the first vulnerable Campbell. I really like Little Spoon.
Well, can we flip it? Can we flip the turn? Can we turn the tables? Do you want to get vulnerable?
No, not really.
Is there anything recently?
I was on patrol this morning.
Saving lives?
Yeah, I got to be vulnerable there.
Batman?
Yeah, Northcott Batman.
Is there anything you could get vulnerable about?
I don't feel very vulnerable today.
What's the opposite of vulnerable?
Stoic,
Stoic.
maybe.
Strong. No, protected.
No,
Protected.
No, protective. Protected. Protected. Yeah, because you can be vulnerable and strong, and we have to like seriously. That's like a thing that people don't see. Guys don't see. Yeah,
But can you be vulnerable?
It takes strength to be vulnerable because of the way that society is stigmatized.
I see what you mean in an emotional standpoint, but from like a physical standpoint,
Oh yeah, no,
like if you're vulnerable, you like in a battle,
no, but we're talking. No,
and you're
I know,
vulnerable
well,
to be destroyed. Like,
we're talking about mental health. Like we're talking about mental.
I thought we were talking about just in general.
No. We're talking about you know, to open up is it takes great strength. And you see that more and more in society. What?
You're getting vulnerable, bro. I like it.
No, nothing to be vulnerable about today.
Okay,
Unless you want me to be vulnerable with you.
For the OG listeners, because there are a few of you that like to listen to the end of the episodes, I have a question for you.
Yes, so do I.
Do you want to say
No,
yours
you go
first?
first.
No, you go first.
You go first.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Jinx.
Sorry.
Guys, thank you firstly for listening to the end. I appreciate all the listeners to the end of these episodes. But my question to you guys is, if there is anywhere Gianni and I could go in the world and film a podcast, where would you want it to be? I want everyone to comment, and the best comment we will do one day in our lives.
Yeah. And my question is, do you prefer 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street? Because I think 22 Jump Street's better. I think there's more iconic scenes, and then 21 Jump Street is good, but I think Jonah Hill really hits his strides in 22 Jump Street and is very funny. And Channing Tatum also goes on a journey as an actor that's underappreciated in the movie. I think obviously Jonah Hill is the comedic funny guy, but I think Channing Tatum is an underrated comedic actor. So that's why I think 22 Jump Street.
I think 21's written better, but 22's written in a way that's more rewatchable.
Well, it has more iconic scenes.
What's more rewatchable,
Slam.
like
Poetry.
the storyline of the first one's hard. Like once you've seen it, it's not the easiest to rewatch over and over. But number 22, you could rewatch a lot.
And Skip and the Captain's Daughter.
Yeah.
That scene, that's the funniest scene in both movies.
I thought the Julia Roberts one was.
Julia Rob hurts. Rob hurts.
So thank you very much. OG listeners, please comment.
Wow, that was quick. Time flies when you're having fun, eh?
You can come, I think 45.
Oh my God, are we actually?
40 minutes.
We
40
talked
minutes,
about
40 minutes.
We talked about two key topics very lengthy.
But yeah, if you guys can comment that, you can comment on Spotify now as well. So let us know and we'll sort it out.
Yeah. And Happy New Year, everybody. We had another episode. Let us know if we should release the audio of another episode, the footage this week. Should we talk about that?
I'm trying to get a thumbnail.
Should we talk about that? Can we mention that?
Oh, yeah. So we had an episode talking about eye contact in online dating and we lost the...
Oh, that's the online dating one. No, we need to release that. That's good. That's going to stir a few people that we know.
We talked about online dating and then at my Christmas event at the end of the year, I was having a chat with a bunch of people about online dating and they were talking about how they've done it and they've met partners and it's great. And
it's just a counterpoint.
Yeah, but I absolutely shat on it and like, you know, in that episode on online dating in a way that probably isn't great to be released and post that conversation.
Well, then maybe we won't do it then.
But that being said, conversation is important.
Let us know. Well, we're not, but it's not, when we're talking about online dating, we're not being super critical of the people. It's just the idea of it. And maybe then the people subscribe to that idea. So I guess it is kind of being critical. But it's never personal on this podcast, is it?
There was an episode where we talked about eye contact.
And there was no audio, there's no video.
And Gianni multiple times in the thing said, this is not an audio listen, this is a visual listen.
What sort of thing were we doing with eye contact? We'll be like,
you were just like saying, what are these different eye contact expressions giving? And then for 30 seconds straight, you would just do eye contact expressions towards me. And I'd say, well, people listening can't see this. And you go, well, this is a visual episode. And then ironically, it's the one time that I lost the footage for an episode. You
deliberately deleted the footage because...
It got cleared for our Christmas episode.
You deleted the footage because you didn't want to hurt people about the online dating thing.
I promise you, I lost it because of the Christmas episode. I cleared it.
Water. Oh.
But yeah, if you're still watching to the end, thank you very much. Really appreciate all of your time. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't followed us on Spotify and given the show a 5-star rating, please do that as well.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
2025 is going to be a great year. We're going to really crack into the algorithm. Happy birthday, Jesus. God bless you.
Happy Crooked Smile Day, 10th of January.
Yeah, 10th of January. Happy Crooked Smile Day.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
I can never ever. If you get lost, I press the rewind so you don't see nine. No, I can tell that you a winner. I'm making key lime cause I was living in the backseat till you begged me. All my niggas never playing games like we bad street. When she's talking, feel like poetry in motion, and I feel like I'm chosen. When she look at me, I'm getting lost up in that ocean. Everywhere emotion, they ain't got a notion. I wanna tell the world.